News Talk 610 AM and 102.1 FM. KVNU.
It's now 4:05, and from the KVNU studios on this Tuesday afternoon, I'm Will Fiedlewhite with your local headlines. Well, developers have now released the first visual renderings of a controversial large-scale data center that's being proposed for rural Box Elder County. Now, O'Leary Digital, along with West Genco, are partnering on the Stratus project, which would sit on about 40,000 acres along Interstate 84. Now, you supporters say that the massive facility would generate its own power, recycle water back into the Great Salt Lake, and also create thousands of jobs. But the project has faced fierce local opposition. Hundreds of residents recently protested the development over severe environmental concerns, and also a local citizens group has filed a referendum to overturn the county's initial approval. Now, despite the newly released images, the project is far from a done deal. Developers still must secure new water rights and pass strict environmental reviews before they'll ever be able to break ground. In other news, a federal jury has convicted 3 Utah business owners for their roles in a nationwide investment fraud scheme that cost victims more than $30 million. Now, after a 5-week trial, Christopher Ashby, Jordan Nelson, and Scott Bynum were found guilty of wire fraud and conspiracy. Now, prosecutors note that the men had lured victims into investing into a company called Noah's Event Centers, promising impressive and safe financial returns. However, the Department of Justice says the company was actually failing. Trial evidence showed the defendants had known the business was in dire financial straits, but still continued to solicit investor funds, ultimately diverting millions of dollars. Now, instead of the luxurious venues depicted in marketing materials, victims were left with empty, undeveloped lots across several states. Now, 3 other co-defendants, including the company's founder, previously pleaded guilty. The convicted men are now awaiting sentencing in Salt Lake City's federal court. And finally, a Vernal mother is facing a first-degree felony charge after police say she violently attacked her 5-year-old daughter, breaking the child's leg. According to court documents, the woman became enraged over something that the child had done. Investigators say that the mother then allegedly picked up the 5-year-old, threw her onto a hard floor, and then began repeatedly kicking her. Now, the assault reportedly continued until the woman's husband entered the room and intervened. Now, the young girl suffered a broken leg and several other injuries during the incident. Authorities are withholding the suspect's name to protect the identity of the victim. The mother, meanwhile, has been charged with aggravated child abuse and is currently being held without bail in the Salt Lake County Jail. Well, we've enjoyed a beautiful afternoon with temperatures staying in the low 60s today, and over the next couple of days, it's gradually going to warm up as we'll be into the mid to high 60s tomorrow, but the concern is we still could see some freezing temperatures overnight, as low temps are expected to be right around 31 to 32 degrees in parts of the valley, and that means you may want to cover up those flowers and plants one more evening. Looks like after tonight, though, we should see low temperatures getting above the freezing mark, and overall daytime temperatures are going to warm up. By the Memorial weekend, we're going to be into the mid to low 80s. Looking forward to that. And don't forget, Cache Valley's biggest garage sale, sponsored by DD Auto and Salvage, is coming to the Eccles Ice Center June 6th. Over 50 vendors will be on hand, with food trucks there as well, and Checket's Amusement. Of course, parking will be available near Eccles Ice Center and over at Green Canyon High School. They'll be offering a wide variety of items, everything from furniture to home goods, clothing, collectibles, tools, and, of course, traditional garage sale finds in all shapes and sizes and prices. It's Cache Valley's biggest garage sale, sponsored by DD Auto and Salvage, coming June 6th to the Eccles Ice Center. And there's still time. If you want to sign up to be one of the vendors at this year's garage sale, you can do so by giving us a call here at KVNU. And coming up, it's KVNU's For the People show with Jason Williams. I'll have another check of local news coming up at the bottom of the hour, as KVNU News Time is now 4:09.
Spring is when everything starts to bloom again, including our confidence. At Bell Sculpt, we help women and men explore body contouring procedures designed around their goals. Moms, you've spent years putting everyone else first. It's time to take a moment for yourself. A Bell Sculpt consultation is completely free and zero pressure. This spring, it's your time to bloom with Bell. Schedule your free consultation today at bellsculpt.fm and enjoy 10% off any procedure from now till the end of May.
Local talk. Afternoons at 4 with For the People.
Box Elder County. Got a junk car? Here's where it goes now. DD Auto and Salvage in Logan is stepping up, serving Brigham City, Tremont, Willard, Corinne, Garland, and across northern Utah and southern Idaho. They pay top dollar for vehicles and scrap metal, and they'll haul it away for you. Fast, easy, and you get paid. Take the quick drive to Valley View Highway or just make the call, 787-1204. That's 787-1204. DD Auto and Salvage, northern Utah and southern Idaho's go-to for junk car cash.
KVNU's For the People with Jason Williams and Bill Walter.
And it is Utah known as the fraud capital of the world. Not because we have more people committing fraud, but because we have so many people falling for it.
Going beneath the headlines and connecting you to the newsmakers.
The radio is a great way to get the word out to a lot of people in an emergency. So we thank you for your help and being a partner with us.
For the People on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM, 102.1 FM, online at 610kvnu.com, and on the KVNU mobile app.
Welcome to KVNU's For the People. It is Tuesday, May 19th. I'm Jason Williams. Thank you for tuning in. 61 degrees here at 4:11 in the afternoon after what was a pretty chilly morning. I don't know if you lost anything to frost. My outdoor weather station told me this morning the low overnight was only 34. But I do know some folks who live near some canyon winds that come out every morning. And they did have some tomatoes and cucumbers get just a little bit titched by frost last night. It was pretty chilly. Not as bad as some other areas. Park City last night. Weather station on Main Street, top of Main Street in Park City, reported an overnight low last night of 24. That's pretty chilly. And it's even colder if you look out towards Rock Springs and Cheyenne. This was, speaking of that, normally we're out of the woods on this type of thing, but wide out snow conditions on the highway from Evanston to Rock Springs last night, or excuse me, over the last, it was off and on, I guess, for the last 24 hours. And many people were not prepared from that. Utah Highway Patrol and Wyoming both saying that they dealt with a high number of slide-offs, people just not expecting it, people driving with tires that would probably be, okay on the roads in a wet or a warm summer, but not so great in the surprise winter that set in. Wild weather this spring. Unfortunately, it's not. Now, we did get. There was one location here in Utah that reported 18 inches of snow, one of the ski resorts, which is amazing. But overall, we're still in a pretty tough situation. Snowpack, for the most part, gone. What we got with this recent storm will be gone quickly. Streams, a lot of streams in Utah, according to the Utah Climate Center, are running well below where they would normally be at for spring runoff. Normally, we're being told, you're getting warnings from water managers and Department of Natural Resources and all those that, remember that these runoff streams have a powerful force, and to keep an eye on the family pet when you're out around the water, things like that. This year, now that's still a good idea. I'm not saying don't worry about that. But this year, the focus is primarily on just looking at these streams and seeing that they look a little bit more like they might look towards the end of June and July as we start what is normally spring runoff season. So, we've been here before. We've all been through this, right? But it's this summer, Governor Cox has said we're probably going to have to go a little above and beyond this summer to make the water stretch, especially in certain areas of the state. Some areas looking better than others. So we'll recap all of this for you, including an update from Bear Lake Watch in their most recent newsletter. They gave a recap of where things are at, water elevation-wise and draw for agriculture-wise when it comes to Bear Lake. We'll talk about that later on in the show. Write up on this by Eric Franzen at CashValleyDaily.com right now if you'd like to read it. Spoiler, the too long didn't read. Expect lengthy walks to the water's edge if you're headed over to the lake this summer. But the full picture is far more interesting, and it does kind of drive home what kind of a summer we're headed into and what is increasingly starting to seem like the new normal here in Utah, although it only feels new. If you look at the trends over the last century, this is actually normal. It just feels normal because we got spoiled for so long. So we'll talk about all that coming up later on. I'm really excited to get to this week's sneak preview of Sutherland Institute's Defending Ideas, because this is one of my favorite policy debates right now. Not just because it's fun and there are, very credible arguments on all sides. That always makes for a good debate. But because it's important. And if we're going to do things to try and make life better in Utah, in this case, to protect children and even adults, really, you got to do what's really going to help. In fact, sometimes doing what isn't going to help can be worse than doing nothing. And so there is a years old now at this point debate over who exactly, well, I mean, I guess you could expand this out and say who exactly is responsible for protecting kids online. But boil it down to the specific public policy debates that have happened here in Utah. One example, this is a proposal that kind of died on the vine, but an original proposal by the state legislature and the governor to force these social media companies, Snapchat, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, although no kids are using Facebook anymore, it's funny how fast those things change, force them to create an age verification process so that minors who download and use the apps, when you sign up for Snapchat, Senator Mike Lee's office did an experiment a while ago. A couple of years ago, they talked about this in a press release, but they signed up for Snapchat, or Snap now. They've changed their name. They signed up for Snap, and they told Snap when they signed up that they were a 13-year-old. And then they just kind of used it to see what kind of content Snap served up on the For You page. And they saw stuff. Now, they didn't provide examples, so this might be subjective. But they saw stuff that Senator Lee's staff said a 13-year-old should not be exposed to at least without parental permission and oversight. Parents having the opportunity to maybe talk to their kids before they see or learn some of this stuff at the age of 13. Nothing that was outright pornographic or anything like that, but questionable. And that's one anecdotal example, but it's a good idea or a good way to understand where the state of Utah is coming from on this. So they're saying basically these social media giants are making oodles of money off of us, including Utah's children, and they're not even trying to be careful about it. The counter to this, there are two counters to this argument, which is that going down certain roads, you could force these companies to create gigantic databases of personal information about its users, which could then be hacked or exposed or leaked to a foreign government. And you're going to have everything from scanned driver's licenses for 16-year-olds to birth certificates for 13-year-olds. And they're going to be responsible for keeping those records. But then if they get hacked, it's just a company getting hacked. But then they've got all of Utah's children's information. So this is a bad idea to force them to go down this road. That's where the argument kind of stalled out in the legislative process, although lawmakers say they're bringing it back. The other counter argument to this is a bit more philosophical, which is that this is not something government can do. That this needs to be in the hands of parents, and the role that the state government should be playing is in educating parents about the risks and how to go about protecting their children online without completely cutting them off from the internet, which is just not realistic in this day and age. It's an argument of parental rights, but also of free speech, which minors do have a right to that, consumer protections, and it's a fascinating debate because there are no easy answers. Everybody has a point. There's not one argument in this debate for or against the idea of the state of Utah cracking down on these social media companies that aren't, this is what everyone agrees on, they aren't doing enough to protect kids online. They're not. Anyone that says they are is just completely out to lunch. But the solutions need to be the right ones, and there are no easy answers, and everyone's got a good point. So I'm excited to get to this one. It is this week's sneak preview of Sutherland Institute's Defending Ideas, Who Should Protect Kids Online. We'll get to that at the start of hour 2 of today's show. It's, by the way, this is a debate that will be coming back up in the upcoming legislative session. That's already been promised by lawmakers that they're not done with this one. They back down for the time being, as they back down on AI after threats from the White House that they'd be sued if they tried to regulate AI. Lawmakers have said, though, we back down. We hit pause at the request of many people, but we're not done. We're going to get back to this one. So we'll see. In conjunction with today's sneak preview of Sutherland Institute's Defending Ideas, we've also got a bill that has been unveiled along these lines. So, all right. Coming up on the other side, Utah's favorite comedian, Nate Bargatze is his name. If you've never heard of him, he is what you could easily call a family-friendly comedian that has broken through that normal ceiling for family-friendly comedians. He's hugely popular. He has an upcoming movie. His Netflix specials are hilarious if you haven't seen them. They do get, at times, at most, PG-13, but nothing like you'd see in most specials. So this has made him a favorite of Utah families. Deseret News sat down with him and talked to him about this, and it's fascinating what he had to say. We'll talk about it right after this.
Look, let's clear something up. IV therapy, hormones, peptides, ozone, this isn't about luxury wellness. It's about function. This is Dr. Josh Redd with Red River Health and Wellness, and we're expanding our services to include these advanced therapies that support how your body actually works. Low energy, inflammation, hormones, recovery, immune health. These treatments are used intentionally with medical oversight and integrated into our existing approach to whole body care. If you're tired of quick fixes and vague answers, this is something different. This is about supporting your health at a deeper level so you can feel better, think clear, and live stronger. Red River Health and Wellness, because your health deserves more than guesswork. Learn more or schedule a consultation at redriverhealthandwellness.com.
Call Red River Health and Wellness at 855-55-RIVER.
Call Red River today.
Your wait is over. Memorial Day deals are happening now at Daryl's Appliance. This is Jay, and for a limited time, you can double dip your savings on GE. First, save on markdown prices. Second, save up to $750 with our exclusive mail-in rebates on selected models. And right now, take advantage of 12-month interest-free financing with approved credit. Why buy from Daryl's? We service what we sell, giving you support long after the purchase. Don't miss these limited-time Memorial Day deals now through June 3rd at Daryl's Appliance, west on Airport Road.
I'm Larry Gelwigs, the getaway guru for Morris, Columbus Travel, and AMA Waterways. Explore Europe on a deluxe river cruise, visiting Castle Country as you sail the Rhine River through the Netherlands, France, Germany, and Switzerland. To book your next AMA Waterways cruise, give us a call at Morris Columbus Travel.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. You've probably heard his name. If you haven't, you definitely should check out some of his comedy. Nate Bargatze is his name, and he has one of the, this doesn't sound like it would be funny, but one of the funniest bits that he does in one of his Netflix specials on a dead horse that isn't actually dead, spoiler alert, but he thinks it is when he drives by, and it is gut-splitting. But what has made Bargatze a household name in Utah, especially, but a lot of places, is he's one of the rarest things. He's a at most PG-13 rated comedian, if you rated comedians, who has managed to break through that ceiling. Normally, because stand-up comedy is what it is, and the majority of the audience for stand-up comedy are who they are. Most comedians are pretty comfortable, and you might even say maybe even intentionally shoot for something closer to an R rating, which of course means a lot of Utah families who choose to stay away from that stuff end up not seeing these comedians. So Bargatze is one that I would guess most families in Utah would be perfectly comfortable sitting down and watching. Maybe not with the young kids because they wouldn't get a lot of the jokes, but your teens definitely. And he's hilarious. That's the other thing. Because a lot of times when I've myself run into comedians who try to keep it a little more clean, it's not that they're keeping it clean that holds them back. It's that they're not that funny. Bargatze is hilarious. He has a movie coming out called The Breadwinner. And I'll be honest with you, this isn't high on my list to see because it kind of looks like a knockoff of Mr. Mom. And I'm old enough to remember that movie from the 80s with Michael Keaton. And roles are reversed. He becomes stay-at-home dad. His wife is the breadwinner. This movie is actually called The Breadwinner. So it wasn't high on my list, but Bargatze sat down with the Christian Post, and the Deseret News had a chance to send one of their own I assume this was probably a virtual interview, but the Deseret News was able to send one of their own journalists to join at the invitation of the Christian Post because Bargatze is so popular here in Utah, and they talked to him about all of this. First off, on the movie, he said that his upcoming, now it's his debut film. This is the first time he's actually starred in a film. He's famous for his comedy specials, Netflix specials and otherwise. But he said this movie was actually inspired by his religious upbringing. And he said that there was this sometimes overwhelming fear of disappointing his parents. And he said that's kind of more what the movie is about, why he wrote it. And he said growing up in a Christian household, he remembers not being allowed to watch a lot of stuff. And even as a rebellious teen, which most teens probably do, sneaking away and seeing some of the stuff that your parents said you couldn't see, some of the R-rated movies, things like that. He talks about all that. But he said he wanted to make a movie that families like the one he grew up in could go see. He said, I wanted it to be funny. I wanted it to, check all the boxes for what could potentially make a summertime Hollywood hit. But I just said, let's keep it something that families like the one I grew up in, who didn't go see R-rated movies and things like that, would go see. And he said, to his surprise, he got no pushback on that from the production company, the distribution company. And he was working with a major group. This isn't like an independent art house film. This is, I forget which studio it is, but it's a major studio. It's getting a wide nationwide release on May 29th. But some of the stories Bargatze tells, you should check out. One, he says at age 12, he said, when I was 12 years old, I would have loved to have a comedy like this that my parents would have taken me to. That wasn't going to violate any of the values of our household, our Christian household, but at the same time wasn't corny like a lot of the Christian content can be. He was very frank about that. So he said, I wanted everybody to be able to come to it and not feel like they're going to get in trouble. Or, I wanted parents to be comfortable dropping their teens off to see this on a Saturday afternoon without worrying, what the kids are going to come home asking about or being mad if the kids, sneak off to see it on their own. So he said that's kind of why he wrote the movie the way he did. It stars Bargatze, of course, and he wrote the movie. And Mandy Moore plays his wife. She leaves on a month-long business trip that could be huge for her career, and Bargatze ends up at home caring for their 3 daughters while she's on this important business trip and running the household, something that he's never had to do before. And hilarity, I assume, ensues. But Bargatze's history is really interesting. And like I say, it's one of the rarest things. You don't see this happen a lot when a comedian that tries to intentionally keep it PG and clean for families, for Christian families who don't see certain stuff to avoid certain content. And yet he's broken through. He's a hugely popular comedian, and he's got his first movie. So Deseret News also includes some tidbits about his career. If you want to read those, I've linked to the story. He became commercially successful with tours grossing $80 million. His tour in 2025 grossed $77 million. The one 2 years before that was $81 million. And his ticket sales are up 50% from the country's second highest selling comedian. It's amazing, honestly, to see this. And he also staged in 2024 the year's highest grossing comedy show. He beat out Jerry Seinfeld and Adam Sandler, which, I mean, I don't know how hard it is to beat Adam Sandler. I don't think the guy's funny. And he's also, if you've never seen when he's hosted Saturday Night Live, there is a hilarious clip you can find out there on Instagram going around all the time where it's he and a bunch of the founding fathers just sitting around talking about, what's going to happen in America. And it's hilarious. It's actually a little bit of a history lesson, but done through comedy. So Bargatze says when he started comedy, he said some comics would be like, well, you're not for everybody. And I would say, why would you not want to be? Or some comics, he would say, I'm not for everybody. And Bargatze said, under pressure sometimes from managers even to make his act a little more edgy, an inch closer to maybe to that rated R type of comedy, he said, why would I not want to be for everybody? People who like the rated R stuff aren't going to not laugh when I say something funny, and people who don't want to expose themselves to the rated R stuff are going to be there laughing along with those people. So I'm for everybody. Clean comedy is what he calls it. And he said it's surprisingly very, very hard work because he said even in his own first drafts, a lot of times things come out a little more PG-13, even rated R in his own head. And then he has to kind of tone it down while keeping it funny. Bargatze said that in his career, he tries to keep this in perspective. He said, I like to think I'm doing this for a bigger purpose. I'm second to God, second to my family, second to your family, and second to the audience, second to everybody. More comedians should live to serve because if people aren't buying the tickets, we don't make a living. So it's a really cool thing. His movie, again, The Breadwinner, comes out May 29th. And if you've never had a chance to see any of his comedy, very rare that I can recommend a comedian here on the show without any fear whatsoever that someone will go watch one of his specials and be offended and then yell at me. Not what you're going to find with Bargatze. Very clean comedy, but honestly hilarious at the same time. And oftentimes, sadly, those two don't go together. So check him out. He does host a podcast called Nateland. I've never listened, so I can't recommend that. But if you want to check him out there as well. Cool write-up from the Deseret News on Nate Bargatze, a very popular comedian here in Utah because he is, one, hilarious, and two, keeps it clean. We'll be back with more of For the People after these headlines with KVNU's Will Feel Right.
Well, thank you, Jason. The Logan City School District has announced it is going to make sure that students don't go hungry over the summer break. Beginning June 1st, the district is going to be providing free lunches and snacks to all children 18 and younger, regardless of family income. Now, the federally funded meals will run Monday through Thursday until July 23rd. Now, free lunches will be served at Logan High School from 11:30 to 1, and free snacks will be handed out from 2:45 to 3:30 at both Adams Park and Willow Park. Now, district officials say that the Seamless Summer Option program ensures that kids have consistent access to nutritious food while classes are out. And as the 50th anniversary of the deadly Teton Dam disaster approaches, a new book by a dam safety engineer is shedding light on the catastrophic failure. It was back on June 5th of 1976 that the 305-foot-high Teton Dam collapsed while filling for the first time. Now, the breach unleashed billions of gallons of water across southeast Idaho, killing 11 people and causing more than $2 billion in damages. Now, author Nathaniel Gee, a Brigham Young University graduate and professional dam safety expert, recently published a book called Failure and Fortitude: How Faith, Politics, and Power Shaped the Teton Dam Disaster. Now, Gee argues that the disaster was preventable. He says the Bureau of Reclamation could have built the dam safely if engineers would have paid closer attention to the region's complex geology, comparing it to nearby successful projects. Now, Gee's book also explores the local history, the political pressures behind the project, and also crucial lessons for modern engineers. And the deadly Ebola outbreak in Central Africa has now prompted new U.S. travel restrictions, but the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints has confirmed that American volunteers in the area are clear of any of the danger zones. Now, the CDC is currently investigating the outbreak in remote areas of the Democratic Republic of Congo and also Uganda. Officials, meanwhile, report so far 88 deaths and hundreds of suspected cases. Now, a church spokesperson has confirmed that no American missionaries are serving in the impacted areas. Now, 2 missionaries who recently returned from the Congo say that the church is extremely cautious regarding volunteer health, ensuring immediate medical care for anyone who gets sick. Now, the couple also noted that the most of the missionaries who are serving in the region are local to the country. Well, we've enjoyed a beautiful afternoon with sunny skies. Temperatures been in the low 60s today, and now we'll see temperatures tonight still getting close to freezing. In fact, some areas of northern Utah, southeast Idaho could see freezing temps again overnight, as we'll be down into the low 30s. Tomorrow, though, high 60s, and it's going to continually, gradually warm up over the next several days. We do have a chance of some showers, though, coming in on Thursday. By the end of the week, temperatures around the mid-70s. And weather is brought to you by Matt Robbins, now with the Alera Group. When it comes to taking care of all your insurance needs, he has more options than ever. With the Alera Group now, he's able to take care of all of your insurance needs for your home, your car, renter's insurance. Give Matt Robbins a call at 752-0101. And I'm Will Feel Right. I'll have another check of local news coming up at 5:05 as more of KVNU's For the People show with Jason Williams is coming up next.
ABC News, I'm Wayne Cabot. The Senate has just advanced legislation to force President Trump to withdraw from the Iran war. Republican Bill Cassidy voting with Democrats. Again, dismissing the pain at the pump, Trump today called high gas prices peanuts. In denying Iran a nuke, ABC's Stephen Portnoy reports under Trump's settlement with the IRS, he will never face audits.
An order from the acting attorney general has the Justice Department agreeing it is forever barred and precluded from pursuing any currently pending matters against Donald Trump, his family, or Trump-affiliated entities.
In San Diego, ABC's Alex Stone on writings found by the teenagers who killed 3 at an Islamic center.
The FBI insisting in this that what they're calling a manifesto, that it was not specifically against the Islamic faith, that it was against everybody and against all religions.
We've learned the shooters live streamed their attack. This is ABC News.
Hi, it's Matt Robbins with Quality First Insurance, and we're changing our name to Alera Group. Wondering who Alera Group is? They are one of the largest privately held insurance firms in the country, which means more choices and stronger buying power for you. And yes, you're still working with your Cache Valley crew. Same local office, same personal service. Stop by and see us. Same faces, same place. Or call 435-752-0101.
Bringing Wall Street to Main Street. From your local experts in downtown Logan, this is the Adams Wealth Advisors Market Report.
Hi, this is Brooke with Adams Wealth Advisors. Inflation and interest rates remained front and center on Tuesday as the 30-year Treasury yield briefly touched its highest level since 2007. Markets continued to grapple with the reality that the energy shock tied to the U.S. and Iran conflict has lasted far longer than many initially expected. Earlier assumptions that tensions would ease quickly, limiting the impact on oil prices and inflation, have so far not materialized, leaving investors increasingly concerned about persistent price pressures. At the same time, newly appointed Federal Reserve Chair Kevin Warsh is beginning his tenure under intense scrutiny. Markets are questioning his more dovish policy stance, which favors lowering short-term interest rates while also shrinking the Fed's balance sheet, an approach many investors see as difficult to justify in a high inflation environment. Stocks struggled under the weight of rising yields. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 322 points to 49,364. The Nasdaq declined 0.61% to 28,819, and the S&P 500 dropped 0.67% to 7,354. AI-related and semiconductor stocks were among the day's weakest performers, while more defensive sectors managed to finish higher. The bond market also sold off sharply. The 5-year Treasury yield rose 5 basis points to 4.33%, while the 10-year yield climbed 4 basis points to 4.67%. Gold moved lower as well, slipping below the 4,500 mark. Meanwhile, AI continues to dominate discussions across industries. Major banking executives are now estimating that AI could replace roughly 30% of work hours in finance and insurance by 2030. At the same time, concerns are growing around the large amounts of debt being issued to finance AI infrastructure projects, particularly within private credit markets. Looking ahead, minutes from the Federal Reserve's most recent policy meeting will be released tomorrow. We'll continue to keep you updated.
That's your update from Adams Wealth Advisors, guiding your financial future one day at a time. For personalized help planning yours, reach out to us at 435-752-1702. See you soon, Cache Valley. Advisory services offered through Adams Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. For important disclosures and more information, visit adamswealthadvisors.com.
This summer, experience clear vision without the daily hassle of glasses or contacts. Whether you're on the trail, at the lake, or just enjoying time outside, LASIK can simplify how you see the world. This is Dr. Karen at Northern Utah Eye Center. We use advanced technology and a personalized approach to help each patient achieve their best possible vision. If you've been thinking about LASIK, now is the time to see if you're a candidate. Call or text 435-752-2020 to schedule your consultation.
You're gonna love what you see.
Do you know a champion in our community? Nominate them for the KVNU Above and Beyond Salute. Every Friday morning at 8:30, we'll spotlight a firefighter, law enforcement officer, healthcare worker, or other deserving individual and give them a $40 gift card to Firehouse Subs. Submit your nominations for the Above and Beyond Salute by visiting kvnutalk.com. Help us recognize the champions in our communities. The Above and Beyond Salute, sponsored by Firehouse Subs on News Talk KVNU, the voice of Northern Utah.
Front page of CacheValleyDaily.com right now. New post from Cache Valley Daily and KVNU's Will Feelwright. Brigham City Police seeking the public's help in a fatal hit and run. This is police in Brigham City are begging the community for information after a woman was struck and killed in a fatal hit and run collision. This was September 29th of 2025 when this happened. And according to a statement from Brigham City Police, Angela Kjar, I think it's pronounced Kjar, tragically lost her life. This was in the news after being hit by unidentified vehicles. But investigators believe that individuals within the local community might have some information that could be really critical to their investigation to track down who was responsible for this. Again, this is a fatal incident in which the alleged person responsible took off. And so investigators believe that the local community might have seen or knows of something that's critical for their investigation, but might be afraid to come forward, especially as so many months have passed. So they're basically begging anyone with information to come forward. From the CashValleyDaily.com story here, in an empathetic plea, police acknowledge that accidents can happen and urge the responsible driver or anyone with direct knowledge of the crash to contact law enforcement. Officials emphasize that cooperating with police is always the right thing to do and could help bring much-needed closure and justice to Kjar's grieving family. Imagine that, being in that situation. And the police department stressed that even the most seemingly insignificant detail could actually be valuable. So if anyone has any information, they're asking that you reach out to the Brigham City Police Department. Again, this comes months after the actual incident, which was September 29th of last year, 2025, when this woman was struck and killed in a fatal hit-and-run collision. But they obviously have reason to believe that there are people who may have seen something or may have heard something, may know something, and are maybe just hesitant or even afraid to come forward. So they're begging anyone with information to come forward. The details, they're asking that you don't assume any details you might have aren't that useful. Anything from a suspicious vehicle with fresh front-end damage to a conversation you overheard. So it sounds to me that investigators maybe know some and are looking for someone to come forward. If that's you, please do. You can contact the Brigham City Police Department, 435-734-6650. And again, they're asking anyone who witnessed the collision, knows anything about the involved vehicle, overheard a conversation, saw a vehicle recently or right after the incident occurred with fresh front-end damage. They're asking that you come forward at this time and help them close this investigation and bring much-needed closure to Kjar's grieving family. So again, they're asking you reach out to Brigham City Police Department if you have information, 435-734-6650. Full story on this with additional details I've kind of skimmed over here on the front page of CashValleyDaily.com from Cache Valley Daily and KVNU's Will Feel Right. I've also linked to that on our Facebook page if you'd like to check that out. I thought this was a horrifying story. People are having fun with it online. I think it's absolutely horrifying. This study out today from Brigham Young University's Wheatley Center basically what they did is they asked a few thousand adults age 18 to 30 who were in relationships, some of them dating, some of them engaged, the majority of them married, and they asked them a lot of questions. But one of the questions they asked was, have you ever carried on a romantic conversation or relationship with an AI chatbot while married? And the number of people who said yes is horrifying. We'll talk about what the study says in full right after this.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
I'm Jay Sallin, founder of Allen Law. My focus has always been helping families protect what matters most through meaningful estate planning. I've now joined forces with attorney mediator Chris Guyman of the Conflict Resolution Center and seasoned litigator Sam Goebel to form the Allies Law Firm. Whether you're planning ahead, resolving marital conflict, or facing a courtroom battle, we bring strategy, strength, and experience together under one roof. Because when it matters most, you deserve the Allies Law Firm. Call the Allies Law Firm today. We plan, we fight, you win.
This summer, the line between safe and sorry might be as small as an overgrown tree. Dry branches, thick brush, untouched areas around your home. That's the kind of fuel fire loves. Let Hull Tree Care help you push that line back by creating a defensible space and reducing fire risk around your property. Call 760-6587 for a free fire risk evaluation from Hull Tree Care.
Be fire aware with Hull Tree Care.
Set sail with Princess Cruises for unforgettable destinations, luxury amenities, and world-class service. From the Caribbean to Alaska to Europe and Asia, every Princess Cruise is a dream come true. Book your cruise today with Morris Columbus Travel, your vacation experts. Visit morriscolumbus.com.
Come on and get away, Morris Columbus.
Hi, this is Gordon Deal. Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News. More Republicans are growing anxious about the midterms after the latest poll numbers for President Trump. Will redistricting efforts even help? Also, with worker productivity on the rise thanks to AI, hear how immigration and artificial intelligence could help control the national debt. And is the financial advice from your AI chatbot worth embracing? Wednesday on This Morning, America's First News. From 4 to 6 on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102 FM. Your station for news and talk.
Welcome back to KVNU's For the People. I'm honestly not sure why this story creeped me out so much, but if you'd like to read the study, I've linked to it on our Facebook page. BYU's Wheatley Institute, which is a family studies and research institute at Brigham Young University, released a study today called Secret Soulmates: How AI Romantic Companions Are Starting to Impact Real-Life Romantic Relationships. The way they did this was they spoke with 2,431 U.S. adults age 18 to 30 in various forms of romantic relationships, but the majority of them married. 18 to 30, majority married. Some engaged and some just dating, but the majority of respondents were married people. And they asked them a lot of questions. Are you anxious about the climate? Are you anxious about the war in Iran? Do you vote? It was a big, broad survey. But one of the sets of questions, which one of the authors, Brian Willoughby, Associate Director of the School of Family Life at BYU, said they didn't expect this to be the dominant takeaway from their research at all, and that it became exactly that. They asked a question. They said, have you ever had a conversation with an AI chatbot that you might describe as romantic? Or have you even carried on a virtual relationship with an AI chatbot while married or dating or engaged? And 1 in 7 said, yep, definitely have. Those same people reported lower satisfaction in their real life relationship as well. And so there's, a whole chicken or the egg thing there, where people in a relationship that maybe wasn't working as well as it did at first, and then so they went to the AI chatbot to have romantic conversations, or vice versa. Did their reliance on the AI chatbot maybe decrease the quality of their real life relationship? Well, that's, going to take decades of research to really sort that out, to see the trends there. But either way, this is a shocking statistic. AI companionship. So what researchers do know is that online interactions in general do, in all situations, detract from authentic human connections. A balance is okay, but if you get unbalanced, you want the imbalance to be in favor of real-life human connections, not in favor of online connections. That we already know. And there's some long conversations we can have about why human psychology works that way, why a sense of wellness works that way. But the shortest way to say it is connection. Actual connection with actual human beings is extremely valuable to your overall satisfaction in life, mental health, and everything. The researchers got into, in the report, again, which I've linked to on our Facebook page, they got into what might be behind this, what might be leading people to this. Little things like some of the survey results, most people said they just found it easier to talk about their actual feelings with an AI chatbot than a real person. Feelings can be more openly expressed. 66% of respondents who said they'd spoken romantically with an AI chatbot said. that it was easier to be themselves. That and also they reported that they wish their real life partner behaved more like their simulated AI chatbot partner. 50% of respondents who said they'd carried on a romantic relationship or had a romantic conversation or two, at least during the time of their marriage, said that they wish their partner was more like the AI chat. You know how unhealthy this is? I mean, this goes nowhere good. Some people, 56% of respondents who said they'd had a ongoing romantic conversation or even relationship with an AI chatbot, said that they wish conversations with real people were more like their conversations with the AI chatbot. I mean, it goes without saying that a conversation with software is going to be inherently one-sided, right? It doesn't require any kind of personal sacrifice or back and forth or, okay, I'll shut up and let you talk now. Those kinds of things that come up in good communication in a relationship. AI chatbot's not going to care about any of that. It's going to let you talk all over them. It's going to let you do most of the talking. All these things that we have to learn as adults to be good communicators, especially in a romantic relationship. AI chatbot's not going to demand any of that of you. I don't think you have to be a family studies research scientist to piece this together and understand why people might be gravitating towards this. Jason Carroll, director of the Marriage and Family Institute initiative at the Wheatley Institute, in a written statement that went along with the report's publication today, said AI companions, while mimicking human interactions, ultimately are simply not capable of sacrifice and connection that real relationships require, and that we benefit from learning how to give, because interactions with AI companions are by their nature counterfeit. And so they're calling on public policymakers, those who have influence over parents and families, those who maybe work in counseling or even therapeutic services for married couples. They're calling on them to start speaking about this, to start talking about how unhealthy this is. One of the examples given, Carol said that in many of their conversations with the people surveyed, they would refer to their AI chatbot conversations as a conversation with their partner, or that they'd been in a relationship, quote unquote, with this. I mean, these are algorithms and software that we're talking about here. One-sided is kind of an understatement. Also, from the survey, a large percent. Well, so a couple of takeaways here. This was more so a common thing with men than women, but not by as much as you would maybe think. What I would have guessed, it was roughly double the number of men who said they'd had this experience, a romantic experience in some way with a chatbot. Even to the point of talking to an AI companion in a, to phrase it carefully, a physical way, and that they had used AI to generate stimulating content, was how BYU worded it. The majority of the people, though, the 1 in 7 who said they had participated in a romantic conversation or even ongoing relationship with an AI chatbot while they were married, were the married people. It was slightly less common for women to say that they had participated in this type of behavior, and even more less common for those who were dating or engaged to say they participated in this behavior. So, I mean, it's early. I don't know what the actual takeaways here should be, especially if you're going to bring it up in maybe a public policy context. You know, how can, and by public policy, I mean, this isn't something the state can solve. This is a cultural issue that we've got to reckon with, because this is not healthy in any way, shape, or form. Scary stuff. I don't know. I'm starting to sound like my parents when everything went broadband and Google search was the new library and how dumb that was all going to make us. I worry that I'm turning into that person that's just opposed to all these scary changes. But I don't feel like I'm that person. I work in this arena. I have to stay up on it. I think it's fascinating. AI is amazing, actually. But this is creepy. I'm sorry. Check it out. If you want to see the full BYU study, I've linked to it on our Facebook page. On the other side, related, Sutherland Institute debating who should keep kids safe online. That's